My sister Emmy and I are on a mission to open our hearts and minds by attending different churches here in Utah. We're talking to the beautiful people that make their church a community.
Hello. If you haven't already listened to part 1 of Maysa Kergaye's point of view as a Muslim woman, we strongly suggest going back to episode 11 before continuing with this part 2 with Maysa. Make it a great day and welcome to That's Church. I heard a podcast recently about a woman that I think converted to Islam, but I don't know for sure. Is it possible to convert to Islam, and what does that process look like?
It's a very simple process. You take a shower and get dressed, and then you openly declare that you believe in one God and that Muhammad is a prophet of God. Some people choose to do it in a mosque, some people among their friends. It really doesn't matter. It just means you're openly declaring you're Muslim. And that's it. Whether you've learned how to pray, whether you're fasting, whether you're ready to give up pork or alcohol or anything else yet or not, it doesn't matter. The beginning point is to have that belief. And then as time goes on, they can learn more and incorporate more into their daily life. Also, I usually teach all the new convert classes. So whenever somebody converts, we do 3 classes a year, currently February, June, and October at the mosque. And so it's always a different experience working with the converts. One year we had 6 people show up and none of them were converts. I'm like, okay, I'm not sure what we're gonna do, but
Like they were already members? They were
not Muslim yet.
Oh.
So I said, okay, usually we teach you how to pray, we teach you how to do things. And they all looked at me and said, oh, we already know how to pray. I said, but you're not converts yet. They go, we're not feeling like we're good enough to become Muslim. And I said, oh no, you can't think that way, because nobody's perfect. You can't wait for perfection to happen before you convert. No, if you're ready, they had already fasted Ramadan. They're already praying 5 times a day. I'm like, what's left? You're doing everything.
Wow.
And
So
sometimes you get a new convert who hasn't done anything yet. And I say, that's okay. You can still be a Muslim and learn as you go along.
Wow. That's really loving and accepting. I mean, we'll baptize anybody in our church. We all know that. But I think that a lot of times in other churches anyway, they expect you to learn something beforehand before being baptized in. But with you, you're like, everyone's welcome, and then learn as you go.
Yes.
Yeah. We recently interviewed a rabbi, and it's quite the opposite.
Right. That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Your faiths are very similar. And he kind of explained to us that you're basically cousins, going back to the Old Testament times, and very similar faiths, but in different ways. But that particular aspect is quite different. That's so interesting.
Yeah. Differences, but a lot of similarities. Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing I just wanted to mention, when we first attended the mosque, we felt like we weren't sure because the women, there was a partition and the women were separate, and we wondered if we would feel kind of segregated or something from the men. And we found through learning and getting more information at the Meet the Muslim that it really is not that way, and it seems to be that women are actually highly respected, and I felt even talking with men within the community that they were extra respectful, and I was really impressed by that. And I think that was maybe something that I had misinformation on, so it was a nice surprise.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way in your faith?
I mean, it depends on which man you meet, but yes. I like the segregation in the prayer. It allows you to focus more on your prayer and not worry about who's checking you out and who's there and who's whatever. So it's just, it's not there to make you less. It's there to give you privacy and give you a chance to worship without having extra eyes on you, so to speak.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry to throw in another question. I have more and more questions as you're talking.
It's wonderful. I love it.
You mentioned alcohol. So is that right? Did I hear that wrong? So alcohol is a restriction. There are certain meats and the way meat's prepared that are restrictions. Are there other restrictions that maybe we don't know about or haven't talked about?
Food-wise, it's just pork. And it's amazing how many things have pork in them. You might know it or not. I wish all the waitresses would learn what has pork in it, because I'll ask, does this have pork? And she'll go, no. And then she'll bring it. And I go, oh. Okay, so bacon, pepperoni, ham, sausage, all that is pork. And then the ones they don't know, lard. So Mexican restaurants, it's really hard sometimes. Many things seem to be fried in lard. And then gelatin. Gelatin can be pork, can be not pork, but for the most part, marshmallows and gummy bears have pork gelatin. So those become, unless I buy the halal or kosher marshmallows, then I can't have them. What else can we not have?
There's got to be a specialty place to get marshmallows or something like that, huh?
Yeah, it's called Trader Joe's. And
oh, really?
Yeah,
that's good to know. Yeah,
they've got good stuff. So and the Muslim stores. The Muslim stores also have the halal marshmallows.
Do you drink? We are supposed to not drink coffee and tea, alcohol.
Smoking. I mean, there's a few
drugs
things that you're not supposed to.
Yeah, are any of those?
Just alcohol as far as drinks. Now, smoking, the word haram means absolutely forbidden, and God forbade it. So nobody can choose to make something haram that God did not make haram. So God did not make cigarettes haram. So if I chose to try a cigarette, it's not the end of the world. I didn't do anything wrong. But now scholars have come down strongly on cigarettes just because people have become addicted to it. And they're telling them, no, you can't keep smoking. It's bad for your health. And because it's bad for your health and you're supposed to take care of your body, they still won't say it's haram, but they'll say a word that says makruh, which means frowned upon, not liked to be done. So they're telling them, don't smoke. But they still can't make it forbidden when God didn't make it forbidden. But God did make drugs and anything that alters your mind. When you can't think clearly anymore or make decisions, then those are not allowed unless for medicinal use for being ill.
Interesting.
But I have tried a cigarette, but I've never tried drugs. So,
okay.
Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, that's always just interesting to hear the differences. With the Krishna religion, Krishna consciousness, they said that they don't drink and they don't even have tea either, which was very surprising. It felt like I would have assumed that tea would be a part of their rituals almost. It kind of had that feeling, but you learned something new.
Something new today.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't drink coffee, tea, alcohol, drugs.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. This is the part where we ask you your favorite quote or maybe just some wisdom that's guided you in your life.
I'm going to give you more than one because I couldn't.
Yes, please.
Just one. Quoting from Robots, the movie, see a need, fill a need. That's something I kind of do adopt in my life. If somebody complains to me about something, I say, if you see a need, fill a need. Another from the Quran is God does not burden a soul more than it can bear. And somewhere else in the Quran it says to the point that everything that you're going through, you're meant to go through it. So God is giving you that test, that trial for a reason. We might not see the bigger picture and understand why, but it's necessary to go through it. So if you're going to go through it anyway, then you want to do it with a smile and pass the test. Be patient. Let's see other things. I think everything happens for a reason. There's good in everything. Try to find the good in everything. If it's not, everything is fine in the end. If it's not fine, it's not the end. So lots
Mm.
of philosophies in life. So I try to be an upbeat, happy person and try to make the best of any situation.
I was going to say
Yes.
that all fits you so well.
Mhm.
You exude positivity and like a zest for life, I feel like, and just seeing you on the other YouTube channel and in real life and on here, I just feel that so intensely from you that you want to make the world a better place. And
We try.
and you do.
It's not easy. And I do sleep relatively well at night, even though I see different people suffering. So I do work with refugees, and it's so sad to hear their stories. You know, they could be multimillionaires and had to leave everything behind, or everything they had got destroyed. And they come here and they start over from zero. So, and I know I can't fix all their problems and I can't give them everything they need, but at least I try, and I can't take the full credit because it's not me who buys them everything. But I put it out there on Facebook and I say, hey, we have a new family. They need a vacuum. They need this. They need that. And if you have the item used, that's great. And if not, if you want to help us buy the item, that will be great too. But usually I try to get it used. So we'll get the couches or pots or pans or whatever they need. So it's been a very fulfilling job, but at the same time, it makes you appreciate your life even more. And so I've been doing that for 8 years, and it's been wonderful. I just put it out there, and it keeps me busy, really, because sadly, many people pass away and they leave a lot of stuff, and then their family is overwhelmed, and they're like, "Can you come and take it all?" And I go, "Sure." So, and one day we'll empty out a whole house. So,
oh wow, that's amazing. And if you ever have a need and you're not filling it, maybe just let us know and we can put it out there on our pages as well. That would be
well, I'll tell you, one of the two biggest needs are freezers. And some people look at me and go, why a freezer?
Yeah, that's surprising.
That's very interesting.
Because they don't have a car and they tend to have large families. And so when they do make it to the store, they get a ride from somebody and they really want to get everything they need. And so they fill their freezers, or need to fill a freezer to survive a week. Usually they have 6 or 7 kids, and so they need a freezer. And of course, the bigger need would be a car, but not too many people are willing to buy us cars. But a freezer is $200. Most people are happy to buy us a freezer.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. We'll put that out there.
Yes. I just think it's good for people to remember that we do have refugees here. I think sometimes we think of them in far off places, but we have a lot of refugees here who need help. And there's so many ways that we can do it. One of my best friends, had someone approach her and ask if she could be an interpreter for a family that came from, I'm pretty sure they came from like Peru. Anyway, my friend speaks Spanish and she interpreted a lot and helped them like set up bank account and some things like that. So there's just so many ways to help refugees, and a lot of, I'm sure a lot of places online where you can donate.
So the two bigger organizations in Utah is IRC and CCS, so Catholic Community Services and International Rescue Committee. So if you have certain items or money that you want to donate, I would highly recommend going to the main organizations.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Okay, so tell us, we're curious about your relationship to a higher power. Do you feel like you have a relationship that's specific between you and God?
Definitely. That's the beauty of Islam, is to have that one-on-one relationship with God. We pray 5 times a day. We renew that connection on a constant basis. We do personal prayers all day long too, just asking for anything and everything. It's like having, maybe it's rude to say, but it's like having your own personal genie in a bottle, so to speak. So he's the most powerful, most capable of answering your wishes. And so I tend to ask a lot. Yes. I feel guilty sometimes asking and asking and asking, but I do. Even in simple things like, God, help me lose weight. God, help me today to speak where I am well understood. and not to say anything that might be incorrect. So always making the little prayers and asking for help. If you're a student, ask God to help you on a test. So, He's capable of helping in so many different ways.
And do you feel you're personally inspired by God?
I don't know what it means to be inspired by God, but I always ask God to help me do what would please Him. So if I'm driving down the street, I always like to drive on the right side, see if there's anybody who might need a ride, help them out, especially if it's bad weather or cold weather. So always looking for ways to do things that would please God. So if that's being inspired, then yes, always trying to do what would please Him.
Okay, that's beautiful.
And then our final question is, what is your That's Church moment? The name of our podcast is That's Church, and we just like to hear what people do to rejuvenate and connect outside of their religion, and that can obviously tie into your religion as well. But are there things that make you, that relax you,
fill your soul?
I think helping others is always a way to refill the soul, whether it is helping refugees, the homeless, any act of charity. But I do like interfaith work too. So kind of like what you guys are doing, learn more about others, connect with others. Yesterday I did Olympus High School. So we did many presentations and answered questions. And really our connecting moment was we did a Zumba song in the end of class because they're like, come on, let's dance. I said, okay, let's dance. And so I think Zumba really just connects all kinds of people together, regardless of beliefs, regardless of anything, and you leave happy and so I hope I get both of you in my class someday soon.
Oh, I would love it. Yes,
we love the information.
We need to put it on the calendar. I'm a big fan of music, and I think music is one of the most healing and connecting things because it's no language, right? Like people with different languages can all hear one song and feel connected and feel the rhythm. And
is there anything you want to share with us before we end?
So I'm not going to speak on behalf of all Muslims out there, but I always feel like if you have a question, just ask. Don't assume, and it's okay to ask. Most Muslims tend to feel good about answering your questions. But every once in a while, you might meet a Muslim who's an introvert who might not want to answer questions. But for me, I am very happy to answer questions. And I'd rather you ask me than to be politically correct and polite and think that you shouldn't ask a question.
And just wonder. Yeah.
Wonder.
That is so great. Such a great reminder for people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think sometimes fear holds us back that we, might look different from each other or this or that, when really we just need to ask. There's a great quote by Fred Rogers where he says, listening is where love begins. And I believe that if we all just took the time to listen to each other a little bit more, get to know each other a little bit more, how much better of a world this would be.
That's so true.
Thank you so much for being here with us. This has been an honor to talk to you.
It's been my pleasure. And I hope if your audience has any questions and they want to shoot me a question, I'm happy to take it. I do have an email, speakers_Utah@Yahoo. And they can request a speaker to come and speak either to their church or high schools or any group for that matter. Happy to.
That is awesome.
And we're just beginning to start these interfaith dialogues. They're going to be monthly. So look up Holiday City Hall and see when they're going to be doing their interfaith roundtable discussions.
Awesome.
That's so great. And I have to just say, I love your name so much. My daughter's name is Maysa. So it's a Z, but it's Maysa. But I love the spelling Maise, which I spelled it with a Z just because I wanted people to not say it with an S. Anyway, but every time I see your name, I'm like, oh, that it reminds me so much of Maysa. I think it's so beautiful. Do people call you May, or is it just
May? Is a different name in Arabic, so there is the name May. So I'm Maysa.
It's just Maysa. Okay.
We tell them like Mesa, Arizona.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I didn't even think of.
Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
I look forward to
hopefully we can
hearing it. And
yeah, we'll send it to you.
My voice doesn't sound like me, but Your faces are like this big on my screen, and then on my screen, I'm only this big, so I don't know. You guys are like 10, 15 years younger than me. You got to make me look young.
You're beautiful.
It's this soft lighting. That's all. That's it.
You're so pretty. And
you're gorgeous.
I tried on a scarf or a hijab at the
good on you guys.
event, and I was like, I think I'm going to start doing this, but then it might seem disrespectful.
All I can tell you
so
is
pretty.
it saves a lot of time. You don't have to worry about fixing your hair. You just and you're out. It saves so much time.
And it's warm.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, we went to Europe and London. The day we were in London, it was so cold that I'm wrapped up in all of the pictures. Just this much of my face is showing because I was so cold. So I could see that too. That's another perk.
Did you see the cute book I had on my table? It said 101 reasons for wearing a scarf, and it was all a cartoon.
Yes, I saw it in your hand, and I wanted to grab it and look at it, and I didn't. I just saw it underneath your hands. But
this book was done quite a few years ago, and so they're like, a place to stick your phone when you're talking, because that was before having earbuds. Oh, it's easy to nurse a baby under the scarf. Oh, it's easy to do this and that. So
funny.
There's some perks to wearing a scarf.
That's
a children's book? Is that what a children's?
Yes, it's a cartoon.
Oh, I'm going to get that for my kids because with this experience, I'm trying to teach my kids about different religions. And I asked them, actually, I showed them pictures of the headscarf, of the hijab, and I just to get their totally innocent look on it. And my son said he wants a red one that's Spider-Man. So it's so funny with kids. They have no... they're so innocent. They have no concept of something being different. And in fact, my daughter said, it's kind of like how we wear dresses. She said, because look, there's different colors, there's different designs. So it's interesting that for them, it's just a different kind of dress.
Yeah. So and wardrobe.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, it's been interesting that way. And in our religion, it's kind of taboo almost to wear pants to church as women, which is getting better. It's not that way for everything.
Always wearing a skirt. I would not. But I'm 99% of the time in pants.
Right. We were saying that's the difference is that in your religion it's flipped. That it's actually more respectful to wear pants or more preferred, I should say.
I would say no, they still want women in skirts or dresses because some will say the pants are still form-fitting. Depends on how loose your pants are. So the Pakistani pants are very loose. Sometimes my pants are loose. Sometimes they're not so loose.
Do you do a skirt on top of pants then?
I do long shirts that come a little above my knee.
Okay, with pants
underneath.
Okay.
I'm not comfortable being in a skirt all the time.
Yeah, gotcha.
But the days I used to teach math at Slick, I would dress up as a professor should. So I would be more in suits, skirt suits.
Yeah, it's
everybody
interesting
has their own
to
comfort
see,
level.
Interpretation of modesty and
the Quran didn't. It just actually the Quran didn't even interpret it too much. It just said hide your beauty except what is normally seen of it. So it's not very detailed. But the Hadith, the Prophet then said not see-through and loose-fitting. It doesn't specify color or pants versus dress versus. So then it's really up to the person to interpret how modest they want to be, what they're comfortable with. And it changes from country to country. Saudi versus Africa versus Pakistan versus Indonesia. They all have their own styles and culture.
Kind of open to the individual too, like the individual's interpretation, which is so interesting. It's also interesting. I love it. I love learning.
We love it all so
I
much.
When I ask some people, I say, have you ever met a Muslim? And they go, no. I said, you'd be surprised. You might have met one and never realized because they don't necessarily look different. They can be blonde, blue-eyed. They can be your doctor and you wouldn't know it, you know?
Right.
A lot of Muslim doctors, and unless they have a foreign-sounding name, you might not know.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's a smaller community here in Utah, but there was a lot of people at the mosque when we visited.
Well, most of those people were people like you who just wanted to learn more. And we're just educating. I mean, our goal is not to convert anybody. But I did meet one lady who was there who said she wanted to join my class and learn more because she is in the process of converting. But that was only one person out of the 150 that showed up that day.
Yeah.
Wow.
And are they usually coming from a different faith? Or do you get many from the LDS faith that convert?
They're usually from all faiths. I mean, some are Catholic, some are atheists, some are pure LDS. They're really from a range of backgrounds.
Interesting.
Once in a blue moon, we'll have a Jewish person convert. That's very rare.
Are they only supposed to be Muslim? Like, are they supposed to kind of let go of their previous faith, or?
They're supposed to, but like I said, to be Muslim, it's only 2 requirements: belief in one God, and that Muhammad is a prophet of God. So, but it kind of implies that Jesus is not Son of God, Jesus is not God, and Jesus is a prophet of God. In that.
So you wouldn't really be Christian if you converted to Muslim because
you're not supposed to be, right?
Because you're not supposed to believe in more than one God.
It doesn't mean throw away everything you've ever learned and everything you've been taught.
Right.
You know, you're still supposed to be a good person. Don't cheat, don't lie, don't steal. I mean, we have so many commonalities in our core beliefs and treatment and how to be a good person. So we're not saying throw everything and start over. We're just saying we're going to add to what you know.
Right. Love it. That's really cool.
I kind of want to convert to all of it and just do all of the traditions of all of them.
That's it.
I want lots of presents. I want Christmas. I want Eid. I want Hanukkah. I want all the good stuff.
Exactly. And then when it's all said and done, you're like, look, I did it all. I am covered.
All the blessings. Yep. I didn't go to heaven. What? I did all of it. Thanks for joining us on That's Church. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at That's Church Podcast for more updates, insights, and a glimpse into the diverse spiritual tapestry of Utah.
Let's keep the conversation going because we believe that gaining knowledge of other religions does not diminish our own faith, but can instead enrich our spirituality.
Let me pull you a little closer to me.
It looks great.
Oh, looks great. I can see you better. Yeah, we'll send it to you.
My voice doesn't sound like me, but
yeah.
You have a great voice.
Like your faces are like this big on my screen, and then on my screen I'm only this big.
It'll be equal.
Yeah, they'll all be the same.
It'll look different.
Oh, yeah. I think Betty White's coming back for all of us because Betty White. So it's really interesting. This doesn't, and just, it doesn't offend us at all. We're very all of these conversations are so fascinating to me that I will hear anyone's opinion.
Off the record. So
I don't see a merciful God separating families is what I'm trying to say.
Same.
This has been fascinating. I have to go, but this has just been incredible. So thank you so much again for taking the time, and
thank you for this.
We learned so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes.
That's church.